down through the Fogarty S's. So this is Mason Law just very astutely slowing things down. The 19-year-old, nicknamed Outlaw, originally from Southend-on-Sea, now living in Benfleet, leads the way ahead of Joe Francis. And then we've got Ben Curry third, Brad Jones, the absolute newcomer, in fourth place, newcomer to this paddock as well as this championship. Ross Twyman in fifth place, Malachi Mitchell-Thomas running sixth, Tom Ward seventh, Van Leeuwen in eighth, Taz McKenzie ninth, Chrissy Rouse is in 10th, the other Supermoto young star Stafford is 11th, and those are the front runners. And already as they go into Goddard, Mason Law just beginning to make his run along the Wheatcross Straight, winds up the Kawasaki, and the first three burst clear impressively. So Law, Francis, Curry suddenly have a little bit of track to themselves, as the rest of them run steady on, back themselves into... that's such a tight entrance at the end of the Wheatcroft Straight. It can just occasionally suck you in at Redgate.
Yeah, second gear, sometimes third on bigger bikes like the Ducati with a lot of torque, but usually second gear is narrower going in. It does feel narrower going into the exit.
Into the old hairpin, and then storming towards Starkey's and Schwantz curve. Up the hill, this takes you to McLean's. And right now, Mason Law straight away is stamping some authority on proceedings, but young Joe Francis, who only really got a ride fairly late on, the young lad from Chester, with Keith Flitt's team, riding number 4 in black there. The young lad from Chester looking pretty strong in reacquainting himself with the 600, just ahead of Ben Curry, number 61. Curry looking at the inside though, and slips through as they drop down to the Fogarty S's.
Got it stopped nicely there, to be honest.
He'll be enjoying this weather, having spent the whole of our winter in Melbourne, won't he? It's perfect for him. Dropping down the hill into the Melbourne Loop. We're on the 4th lap of 14. This is the opening round of the Pirelli National Superstock 600 Championship in association with Black Horse.
Ben Curry, your second place man, yellow bike, spent last year racing the same class on the Motor Breakers bike. I saw a little bit of him. It was a friend of mine's lad was actually racing for the same team, James Lodge, so nice lad actually.
Notice that Brad Jones, the bespectacled 17-year-old, is almost keeping pace with them. He's just there. He put in a 1:34.5 lap on that lap. He's kind of on his own in 4th place, not quite on their pace, but not far short. I don't know how big a step up is it, James, coming from the Thundersport paddock into a BSB paddock in this championship racing?
It's a step up, there's no doubt about that. What we have seen this year is quite a few of the top flight riders from this class move on, which is the way it should be. So there is space and kind of place for people coming from... The Thundersport's a good championship. It's a good competitive championship.
These are the front three. They've definitely torn themselves free of their pursuers. This means that at the moment anyway, on the 5th lap of 14, this looks like the lads who will be fighting for podium places here ahead of Brad Jones. Ross Twyman, who started getting some very strong results towards the end of last year, is running 5th. Tom Ward, number 2 on the Goal Racing Developments Yamaha, that from Canterbury down in Kent. He is running in 6th place. And Malachi Mitchell-Thomas, the next man up, running on bike number 13. Comes from Bolton on the Silicon Engineering Racing Kawasaki. That's a team, of course, with a bright blue fairing that's being managed by Christian Idden's dad, Paul, a former teammate of yours at Suzuki GB.
The Silicon Engineering people love the motorbikes. They put a little bit of money into sidecars as well. They're big bike people. Also sponsored a couple of road riders as well.
Across the line now, there are 2 distinct packs headed by these 3.
The International University Sports Federation brings together millions of students worldwide around the same values, excellence in mind and body. Thousands of students, hundreds of universities participate in FISU events, the rendezvous for the best student athletes. Today's stars, tomorrow's leaders.
This is a Satsuma loan. It's not like a payday loan because you can repay it in segments, which makes things more manageable. With us, there are 0 fees guaranteed, so you'll never be charged a penny more than the amount you agree up front. To get a loan of up to £1,000, representative 845% APR, come to satsumaloans.co.uk, a better way.
The leader, Mason Law. We're on the 7th lap of 14, virtually half distance here in the opening race of the 600cc Superstock Championship. Battle on for second place between John Francis and Ben Curry. And then back up the road a touch. Brad Jones is still there, holding on to his 4th place ahead of Ross Twyman, Tom Ward, Malachi Mitchell-Thomas, Chrissy Rouse.
Mason Law, big mates with Danny Buchan. They're both exceptional motocrossers, I'm told. Not that I know myself. Even if I saw them, I'm sure you'd know a little bit more about that than me, Jack, but they both love the motocross.
Well, they were both pretty successful schoolboys off-road before they moved on the tarmac. And Mason, of course, has enjoyed that advice from as we watch the changeover into second place. Number 61, Ben Curry. He's got that manoeuvre pretty much off to perfection.
It looks like he's got a fairly quick bike as well, which always helps in that manoeuvre. If you can get yourself almost level with somebody down a straight, it's not a big ask to go past him on the brakes. If you've got a slightly slow bike and they can pull 3 or 4 yards on you, you're never going to get past him on the brakes without being significantly quicker.
The giveaway and the colour of the fairing, of course, indicates that he's a teammate of Kyle Rides, who's running strongly in the Supersport Championship already this year at Pace Days, Track Days, Yamaha.
Yep, run by a former Supersport man, Craig Fitzpatrick. We've seen a bit of him in years gone by.
It was only the race leader, as I'll mention this later when we get back to it, but right now this is the battle going on behind the main men. Tom Ward, number 2, Malachi Mitchell-Thomas, number 13, 55, Chrissy Rouse. They're all in that bunch together. What sort of these engines presumably are fairly standard?
Absolutely standard.
So what sort of revs do they reach then compared to the Supersport?
15,000, 16,000 RPM. They're all 600cc's. They're all across the frame 4s. Apart from the Triumph, the Triumphs are obviously 3s and the 6 and 5s across the frame, producing around about 130, 135 horsepower. Not too difficult to build one of these within the rules. They're quite tight, as you'd imagine, the regulations.
Very distinctive new colour scheme there for number 40. That's Taz McKenzie from very local, of course, only 5 miles down the road at Ashby de la Zouch on the Stoke Connect Academy WD-40 Kawasaki.
And I think Taz is going to be a little bit disappointed to be going round in 11th. He qualified a little bit better than that and saw himself, without being cocky, he's not, but he definitely saw himself as a championship contender this year in this class. Of course, rode the same class last year.
Got a yellow flag flying there at the bottom of the hill.
You can't overtake, and they are doing, so...
Steady, boys. Probably Andy Irwin getting himself into even deeper mire. Where is he? He's in 22nd place.
I was just going to say where he is.
Here he is.
Where is our intrepid Irwin?
And here is the intrepid Irwin, number 8, from Carrick Fergus on the MWR Motorsports Kawasaki. As Mark Webster's team.
Yeah.
Any Kawasaki that's not painted green just doesn't quite look right, but I appreciate they can't all be finished in team green.
By the same token, we tend to call everything a Kawasaki if it is painted green, regardless of what actually made it.
Now Andrew takes as much of that tarmac on the exit to the pit lane as he possibly can, dropping into Redgate. He's got a bit of clear track ahead of him. He's currently 21st. But he's got about 4 seconds to gain to get up with Buxton in 20th place. Problem
is, if you start from the pit lane, you don't get off even on the back of the last man. You've got time just to get to the back of the kind of pack. And with every rider you pass, it gets more difficult because they're quicker. And big ask for the lad to start from pit lane and do anything really. A point would be a good thing.
Yeah, well, it would. It might. Yeah, you're right. 21st place. He's only got about, 6 laps in which to do it. A problem for number 98 coming in, Wayne Ryan. Wayne Ryan, such a big name in 125 CC Racing a few years back, has returned to this paddock after riding in Spanish championships and even getting a toe into motorcycle Grand Prix racing.
Yep, we're looking at number 61. Ben Curry's wide, but a nice late apex. That wasn't necessarily a mistake, that. You just leave yourself it's actually a quick line around the corner, big late apex X, carries a bit of speed onto the straight. However, you do leave yourself open to a little bit of a block pass if you're dicing with anybody, which is Joe Francis.
This could possibly be Ben Curry's first podium finish. His best race result so far, 5th at Alton Park last year, on his way to 15th in the series. So he's obviously wintered well down in Tarragone on the edge of Melbourne, and has come back.
He brought the weather with him.
He brought the weather with him. He's pretty loose. He's obviously enjoying the race.
Yeah, that's good.
Throwing this around.
That's good. This used to be the fastest part of the Donington circuit. Strangely, because the straight was shorter when it was the old layout.
Yes.
And bikes weren't as powerful. Now the super bikes, obviously any straight bit is a quick bit. But for these bikes, they'll be going just as quick round that Starkeys and Schwanzer's curve section as what they would be on the straight.
We've finally had a change look as Ross Twyman, number 15, has worn down the gallant Brad Jones and moves through into 4th place. Number 15, there he is, Ross Twyman on another of the Pace Days, Track Days Yamahas. Not for long, though. Well, I tell you what, the 17-year-old newcomer from Thundersport, he's a brave boy, isn't he? Look, he's just saying, no thanks, I'll have that 4th place back.
You just called him gallant. Well, that's part of being gallant, has been a bit brave, isn't it?
And just behind them now, Malachi Mitchell-Thomas, the lad who moved over from Supermoto racing last season and made an immediate impact. In fact, he looked to be headed for a really good result here later in the season last year when he crashed, didn't he, at Goddard's here in fact, right here.
Malachi Mitchell-Thomas, the man 3rd in shot now, blue and white leathers. He is, for me, he should be somewhere near the front of this class. He's got the talent, he's very aggressive, like they always are when they come from Supermoto, and I think we haven't seen the best of him yet this season. He's definitely capable of more than this.
So Silicone Engineering racing that distinctive blue machine, and here's another trudge of shame, and it's Jason Vernon who's gone down this time. At least it means he's unhurt.
What did he do? Ooh, that. Well, he sent his bike off. The bike didn't actually want to crash, did it?
How did he manage that?
I don't know.
It's one of the more entertaining exits.
The bike's now at Leicester.
Back with number 20, Mason Law, who, it's Mason, you know, only made the switch to tarmac in 2012, James. He's really lacking experience on tarmac.
I used to say, well, he's done a lot of it, you know. He's hit it fairly hard. I was doing a lot of instructing for Chris Walker's race school at Mallory, and he was there every single time. He was sponsored that year by Chris Walker. Chris Walker provided a bike for him, and he did a lot of laps. He has, you know, he's packed a lot of experience into a little bit of time.
And he was fairly quick from the off, wasn't he? 12th in Superstock 600 in his debut season, and 7th last season. Never actually won a race yet, James. He's had a 2nd place at Brands Indy, a 3rd place at Snetterton. And of course, those impressive results, 12th at Magny Cours last year in the Supersport Championship. Liam Shelcott also makes an exit. These lads, considering the conditions are so good, we've got a fair number of spills here.
Conditions don't matter a thing. Sometimes worse in good conditions. Let's have a look. Where is it? Oh, lost the front. Yeah, just held onto the brakes slightly. It's dead easy to do that. That is easy to do.
So he slides gracefully out.
See how he kicked his arms and his fingers and his hands out of the gravel? You can soon get a... Oh, hang on.
So that's another of the fallers that we've suffered here in these beautiful conditions at Donington Park. Mason Law, meantime, goes on his majestic way and looks like he is going to be headed for a debut victory in the Superstock 600 Championship. Ben Curry for a debut maiden podium finish. Joe Francis in 3rd place. Brad Jones, the absolute newcomer, in 4th. Dropping down the hill into the Fogarty S's with Mason Law leading the way. This is the battle between number
98 and Pat Marker, I think.
Yes, it's Wayne Ryan. He's rejoined, hasn't he? Because he's...
we've seen him on the deck.
Yeah, we've seen him in the pit lane. So look, he's keeping well out of the way.
Yeah, he couldn't...
And we've got a faller. Another faller. Didn't you say it? It's Chrissy Rouse. I think it's Chrissy Rouse who's gone down. So the Geordie boy has made not the return that he wanted to Haribo Starmix. He's dropped the Triumph and looks as dejected as you would expect with himself, as he was challenging for a decent finishing position.
And that's a long, long way out of the Foggy Esses to be high-siding off a stock 6 that's got 135 brake horsepower. That's good work from Chris.
Tell him that then.
That's not easy to do that.
It'll make him feel better. So Mason Law well clear at the front. Ben Curry has now pulled the pin in second place and looks fairly clear of the third place Joe Francis. And Joe Francis is not by any means secure because that kid Brad Jones has got his head down. He's quite Chris Walker-esque in his aggression on bike number 12. He's going for it big time, and he's closing the gap in fourth place.
He's not enough, though, I don't think, with a lap and a half left.
Oh, and Tim Booth Amos has gone down as well. He was lying in 13th place, just inside the points. And on the Anvil Tag Hire Racing.
That's the old hairpin again, and there's two more there. Is anybody left going round?
No, we don't.
Hang on, this is it.
Oh dear.
Somebody's up the inside, can't stop. Oh dear, dear, dear. No good can come of this.
A rash move.
Oh dear, lad.
23 is one of those boys down, Dan Murphy, one of the newcomers who's just learned what he's going to suffer now and then in the was he the actual inflictor?
Oh yes, he was the instigator of the whole thing. Yes.
That was a thunder sport technique.
Heading up the inside, 20 mile an hour too fast on a real wing and a prayer, that boy.
Into the final lap then, and it looks like it's going to be just too late for Brad Jones to do anything about Joe Francis. Francis, number 4, looks as if he's going to hang on to that third place. Mitchell Thomas there running in 5th place, just ahead of Ross Twyman. He's got the better of Ross Twyman. So Mitchell Thomas moving up.
Thing is, you know, when you get a class like this, packed grid, everybody's wanting to impress. A lot of them are sort of stepping up in a kind of league, if you like, and they're trying hard, and you're going to drop off occasionally.
Joe Francis, of course, made his debut in the Superstock 600 series last year after being Moto 3 champion in 2013. So he's another rider still finding his feet in this series. This is the Supermoto star, the former 5th place man in the European Supermoto Championship, number 13. Still just in front of Ross Twyman, number 15. Malachi Thomas, the boy from Bolton. Driving. This is the leader at the bottom of that hill as they exited Coppice. He was entering the Foggy Esses and has a comfortable lead, and it looks like it's going to be just nice and sweet now for Mason Law. Well, Andrew Pitt will be peaking.
Yeah.
Look, I told you this boy was good. I gave him that bit of experience in World Supersport when I had the chance to.
He did well, you know. He didn't do anything silly.
He scored points both times.
Yeah,
12th and 15th in the final 2 rounds, Magny-Cours and Qatar. And here he is recording his first win in the Superstock 600 Championship. Mason Law wheelies across the line to take victory for the first time. Ben Curry gets his maiden podium position in 2nd place. Joe Francis goes 3rd. Brad Jones, what a welcome to this championship from Thundersport. Makes it 4th place ahead of Mitchell Thomas and Twyman. Kevin Van Leeuwen in 7th place. Taz McKenzie breaks through to 8th place. And Stafford on the 2nd of those number 3rd. What was the Silicon Engineering Racing? Thank you very much. He finishes 9th ahead of Tom Oliver. Tom Kahn, who qualified really poorly, pushes through to 10th. To 11th ahead of Stanley, Edwards, Thompson and Andy Irwin. What did you say, James? He might just make a point. He got a point for 15th.
Good work from him.
So, number 20.